Another episode of the Bleed Lows podcast, a pregame show edition, continuing with our NLDS coverage here. The Dodgers travel to San Diego as this best of five series is now a best of three series with both teams tied at one game apiece. After a hostile and eventful game two, along with a crazy off day yesterday, with both teams are coming into this with a lot of extra energy, a lot of chips on their shoulder. Uh, Starting pitching matchup. It'll be Walker Buehler taking the mound for the Dodgers tonight in his first postseason start since Game 6 of the 2021 NLCS, going up against Michael King, who dazzled in his last start against the Atlanta Braves. But Carlos, before we get all into that, we're going to get the ad side, the business side out of the way first. So BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of that 200K pool. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack, poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head on over to the website to get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. Carlos, I know you guys did a live stream yesterday, kind of going over everything between, what happened in game two and then kind of leading up to today. But given the situation that the Dodgers are in, tied 1-1, it's kind of a story we've seen before. And if you go back a couple seasons ago in 2022, Dodgers are in the same scenario, tied 1-1, heading to San Diego. Confidence level coming in to today, because like I said in that intro, it is now a best of three with the home field advantage going to the Padres.
Confidence level. I mean, it's hard to give it a number, but we have to, it's I see it. Even though the Padres do have home field advantage, I see it. It's just a 0-0 game. We have a new clean slate. Bueller. I feel confident after listening to him on the press conference. I think it's going to be. I think, like I said, I think if we can get 4 innings out of Bueller, I think that's great. I think we have a rested bullpen. A lot of the guys who pitched game one are fully rested. And after I just watched before we came on, I just watched Robert's press conference and how he was talking. They were asking him about game four, and then he said, "Well, game four depends on game three." So just the outcome of this game, how important this is. You know, we just got to show up. You got to show up, and not let the fans, not let the noise, the boos and the cheering when they get hits, get get into the Dodger players. You're wearing your Lucky Betts jersey, so, that's what we need. We need Betts to show up. We need the rest of the team to show up. I believe in the bullpen. I know that we're all aware of the game, what's going on here. The Mets 7-2 with 2 outs in the ninth. So, it's definitely, we don't want to get into that predicament where we're falling behind because, man, that noise, that stadium is going to be so loud, and it'll be a big factor if we fall behind. So we got to score first. We got to shut them out in the first inning. Those are the first keys to the game.
Yeah, and before we even get into today's game, I know you guys discussed it yesterday, and with the boatman, Roger, and yourself. But if for anyone that hasn't listened to that episode, what are your whole thoughts on the entire situation? Like, give me your thoughts on the Tatis hit by pitch. Give me your thoughts on the fans throwing stuff at Profar. Profar and Tatis, instigating the crowd. Like, what are your overall thoughts as we come into this series? Because, like you said, Petco Park, it's going to be sold out. It's going to be a rowdy crowd. The Dodgers are going to be in a hostile environment. They got hit in the face with that environment in 2022. But coming into this one, Dave Roberts even said they know what this crowd's going to be like today. But just overall opinions on how whatever happened in that game too, because I know we've all had a lot of opinions on this. I'm curious to see what yours are.
I mean, I think I think the hit by Flaherty on Tatis, I think that was not intentional. I think that Profar, instigated that in the situation. I don't condone throwing stuff at players, but I also don't, I don't want to generalize all Dodger fans are thugs or bad people because, you know, 10 bad fans threw stuff. So And then Tatis dancing or gyrating, whatever the hell he was doing. I mean, I feel like they were playing into the fans. I mean, I feel like it was a back and forth. I mean, literally, what were their lives in jeopardy? Like, were they gonna like get killed? No, they weren't. I mean, the balls. I mean, I don't even know. The only thing that I did see that was intentionally trying to hit the player was I don't know if you guys saw the video. There's a video where it looks like they're in the Padres bullpen and someone's throwing those big. If you go to your stadium a lot, you'll see these big, giant, like blue
It was a
plastic
blue
long.
water bottle, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're not water bottle. They actually have alcohol in that thing. So they finished it and they threw it, and that's the only one that you saw that was actually thrown at him with at the player with intent to try to hit him. I think the ones at Profar, the balls that came at Profar, I don't think they were in. I mean, unless we have fans that can't throw the ball that well, I think they just tried to like just kind of like how you throw balls back onto the field. To me, that's what it looked like. But you know what? I will be surprised if we don't see something like that today in San Diego. I think the Padres fans are just if we want to generalize the Dodger fans as being bad, I think the Padres fans are just as bad. You'll have clips every so often on Twitter, on YouTube with fights that break out in San Diego with other teams. Not just the Dodgers. So it's just the heat of the moment. I mean, I personally wouldn't do it, but and I don't condone someone to do it, but you know what? It's just sometimes it's just part of the game. Unfortunately, we're like yesterday we were talking about. I mean, this rivalry, it's becoming a rivalry. Whether you guys like it or not, it's become a rivalry in the last 5 years now, and I like it. I
Yeah,
like the intensity. Go
I
ahead.
like everything about it right now. I like the rivalry. My issues with it, everything with it, like, since I wasn't there last night, I'll give it real quick before we start diving into this game, but everything you said, we're kind of going on a completely different tune than most, podcasts or people that cover the team. I think it's fair game. If you as a player want to rile up the crowd and the crowd fires back, you got to be prepared for it. The one that you mentioned where they're going to throw something directly, like the alcohol container directly at a player, that one I think's out of line. Everything else that they did, you can say it's a bad look, but I'm here on the East Coast. I've seen Phillies fans do it. I've seen New York teams do it. Every sporting event I've been around, it
Oh, Cody. So wait for Cody to come back. But I mean, this is the atmosphere that we kind of want. I think we want this kind of. You back, Cody? Go ahead, Cody.
yeah, there we go. I think you want this atmosphere. It, it if you are as a player and you want to taunt the crowd, because I think it all started with the Profar thing. Profar, I thought the way he handled it was entirely out of line. Robbing the home run, awesome. That's an awesome highlight catch. He's happy. He's giggity about it. But to kind of like wait until Betts is like rounding second. I felt bad for Betts. That's why I'm wearing the jersey today, because my man's was at second base, already raising his fist, thought he had a game tying home run. That was a huge momentum swing, because when I thought he tied, I was like, all right, we're back right into this game. And then when you saw that Profar came up with the ball, I was like, fuck, like that just sends us back to square one. And that's where it starts. Yeah, the Profar gives the fan that was initially in that play a ball, and he rightfully just throws it nowhere near the player. Even the second ball that went on the field was nowhere near Profar. That stuff's just fair game. And my biggest feelings on it is that if I want to hear someone's opinion on it, I like to hear former players' opinions on it. And if anyone watches baseball today, Trevor Plouffe, he does all the stuff with John Boy, and he said everything about that happened besides when you start throwing beers and everything. Fair game. If you want to throw balls back onto the field that a player gives you or that are hit, like if someone hits a home run, you're well within your means to do it. The Tatis hit by pitch, like I don't understand what the Padres are thinking there. It's a close game at that point. I don't think there was any intent on it, but it'll kind of go into my game plan what I think the Dodgers are going to try to do to Tatis to neutralize his bat, because at the end of the day, Tatis right now is the MVP of the series. My man has an OPS over 2. He's hitting 600. He has multiple home runs. He's pretty much energizing not only his team, but he's pretty much antagonizing the fans, and he can kind of back it up. But anything else that you want to get off your mind before we start looking at this matchup tonight?
I mean, yeah, I mean it is about tonight. We had mentioned earlier. Look, Tatis is going to get his no matter what. It's the other guys you can't let you beat you guys because the bottom of the lineup we got to control the bottom of the lineup. I mean there's not that many, even though the Padres are stacked, they're not all hitting well right now. I mean, for me, it's Tatis is their guy. Let's not give him anything good to hit, especially with runners on base, and let's go after who bats after him. Manny bats after him. Is that correct? I think we've held Manny in check pretty much. I mean, I know he has one home run, but he struck out a lot. We all know that he can't swing at that slider away or any balls away. He's swinging. So that's where we got to be with Manny. I'm not, Tatis is going to get his. I think he is a great player, but it's more of like everybody else. We got to keep everybody else in check.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers have done a pretty good job. It's just Tatis is the big one. But before we start getting into that, they did their annual pregame interviews today, and one of the ones that caught my eye was the one with Max Muncy when he was asked if the Padres, their antics and what they do and how they play, if it's a ploy to try to get under the Dodgers' skin. And his comment on that is that this is kind of part of their game. It's trying to get under your skin and trying to have the emotion come out and get you to do
Max,
something
you
you're not
kind of
normally
alluded
doing.
to, the opposing team and not playing their game and kind of the emotions behind it. Do you feel like the Padres are intentionally trying to get under your skin in any sort of way to level the playing field, or how do you feel about it?
Well, I don't know about leveling the playing field, but I think that's definitely part of their game. Is they try to, as I've said, they play off the emotion. The atmosphere here plays off their emotion, and we've seen that for the last several years, even in regular season games. Just something as simple as a single, and you see the guy throwing the bat 30 feet in the air, that really gets the crowd going here. And that's just that is kind of part of their game, is trying to get under your skin and trying to have the emotion come out and get you to do something that you're not normally doing. And just for example, if you're a pitcher and you see a guy doing that, and all of a sudden you want to throw harder, and now you're missing balls right over the plate, and that's when their guys are doing the damage. So you just can't. It's easier said than done, obviously, but yeah, you just can't let that happen.
Listening to that interview, Carlos, like I mentioned, the thing I took away from it was that, second to last paragraph where they try to get under their skin and get the Dodgers to do something that they're not used to doing. Because whether you like it or don't like it, and Boatman brought this up yesterday on the live stream, is that the Dodgers just have a different type of attitude when it comes to their day to day. We've vented about it before, where they're so business like. When they want to show emotion, they'll show emotion, and I think as much as criticism as I'll give them for that, where it could make the regular season very boring, I would rather have my team perform that way and act that way than whatever the hell the Padres were doing the last in game 2. Any thoughts on what Muncy said, and if you kind of agree with that statement?
I mean, yeah, I totally agree with Muncie. I think that's the Padres. That's how they play. That's what it takes. You, they know their fan base. They know what gets them going, and that's what they're going to do. I think that's in that regard to the Padres. I'm not saying that that's the way I would play, but good for them. I mean, if they figured out what gets their fans going, then you got to keep doing it. But that's not the Dodgers. I mean, we know that the Dodger fans are the fans are rowdy, but the Dodger players, that's just not them. Right now, we've already talked about this several times. Right now, the guy who's the loudest that I've seen is Otani. Especially when he had the 3-run home run in game 1, he was like he showed the most emotion so far. Besides, I would say maybe some of the relief pitchers like Kopech when I think it was Phillips or Trinan who got him out of that jam. He was happy there, but I mean, that's about it for the Dodger side. I mean, I mean, everybody here in the chat knows, whoever's watching this, the Dodgers are just not, that's not the team. We are, the Dodger players are more kind of like, I don't consider it soft, but more subdued with their celebration. It's just different, And like I said, it works for the Padres, and hopefully today we don't get to that point where they're going to do that to get their crowd going, especially on a home run. I mean, I mean, it's definitely a lot harder said than done, because we know they're going to hit at least one home run today. Shoot. The Dodgers
Yeah,
just have to respond.
yeah. The only other thing I'll say about the Muncy interview that wasn't shown in that clip is that, and it kind of it shows how the Dodgers operate. And Matty Man put it in the chat already. When Otani does something fantastic, or the 3-run home run in game 1, like, the team will show emotion, the players will show emotion. Muncy brought up in that same press conference that the Padres just show emotion for God knows anything. A walk, a single, they'll bat. He even mentioned it. He said they'll get a single 30-foot bat bat like flip. And the Dodgers just don't do that. They take their time. When the moment comes and they get a big hit in the key situation, that's just everybody will show emotion in that situation. And I think it's what separates these two teams. I think that's the reason you mentioned it's a rivalry. When I see it, it is a rivalry, but it's not one built out of respect and history like it is between the Dodgers and the Giants. It's one built of annoyance and anger. And I think this is why Dodger Stadium was as hostile as it was, with players and the fans going back and forth, because guys, we've played our division rivals multiple times in the division series. We played the Arizona Diamondbacks twice. We played the San Francisco Giants in a 5-game series a couple of seasons ago, and there was nothing that the Giants did in that series or the Diamondbacks did in these two series where I would say, hey, like, this is just, in my opinion, old school man. Like, I'm like, this is just disrespectful to the team and to the fans that are at the games. But I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that before we start diving into this critical game 3.
I mean, I think, like I said, it's going to be interesting. I'm like I said, I'll be surprised if the Padre fans don't do something. If they are on their best behavior and they don't like start throwing stuff, I would be surprised. I think something will happen. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of fun baseball. You know, if someone throws inside some chin music. It's we might see the benches clear today, which is, you know what, it's 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 fun baseball, especially as fans watching this. It's cool. It gets you going, it gets you pumped up, and it's gonna be good. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's must watch TV. I mean, like Nando says, man, this is definitely a must win. I mean, there is no, if we don't win this game, shit, man, tomorrow's game is rough. But yeah, today's a must win. And you can hear from Robert's conference. It's basically like all hands on deck. We got to win this game.
Yeah, all hands are on deck for this game. Neither the Padres or the Dodgers announced the starter for tomorrow. As good as the Padres starting rotation is, they don't really want to go with a Perez game if they don't have to. There was even, thoughts, Mike Schill even put out there that they may even start Dylan Cease on short rest given the situation, which I think if the Padres win today, if they want to go get the killing blow, they may just go straight to the guy that started game 1. But let's look at this matchup today. We got Walker Buehler, not the best regular season for him, which is to be expected. You come back from 2 Tommy John surgeries. It's your first time getting, actual meaningful innings under your belt. Yeah, he had a minor league stint last year. Yeah, he had a minor league stint at the beginning of this year and then got placed on the IL. Ended up with only a 1-6 record, a 5.38 ERA, a career high. But at the end of the season, in September, he had a 4.44 ERA, and he had a really good start to close out the season against these same San Diego Padres, where we remember he went 5 innings, only allowed 1 earned run. The big thing is he only struck out 1 batter, but the Padres as a team struck out the lowest in all of Major League Baseball. Carlos, we know the reputation of Walker Buehler being a big game pitcher. Obviously, his last meaningful postseason game was 2 years ago where he was a completely different pitcher. Confidence level that he can navigate through this lineup in October. And what are your realistic thoughts? Because I know we've had some, I wouldn't even say crazy predictions with our starting rotation so far these series with this pregame. But, I feel like someone has to set the tone early. And the one guy that I trust the most to do that is Butane. Or am I right or wrong on that?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Bueller has to. y- You know what's going to be telling? It's going to be telling when he faces Tatis and Machado in the first inning. If he can just maybe get one single, no home runs. I mean, then everything's looking good. Maybe he'll go 4 or 5. If those guys hit like back-to-back jacks, man, it could be a long game. But I believe in Bueller. I think he has it. He has what it takes to win this game. I have full hope in that he's. I mean, definitely not Bueller of old, but this new, rediscovered, pitcher player that he is now, because he doesn't he can't rely on his fastball. He's got to throw those breaking pitches. So yeah, I think he'll be okay. Like I said, I think he'll go 4, and I think that's all we need. On the other side with King, and I know Matty Man mentioned it yesterday. Yes, he shut us out last in the last homestand, but he didn't pitch as well as he did against the Braves. You know, with the Braves game, he had 13 strikeouts. I think the Dodgers, he only had 3 strikeouts. He gave up one unearned run, but he had 97 pitches through 5. So what does that tell me? I think the Dodgers kind of worked the count. You know, I think the Dodgers will be okay today. I don't think he'll be as dominating as he was against the Braves in the wild card series. So, you know, I see a couple of bombs coming. I think Otani will get a home run, and another lefty out there. I think Muncie's day is today.
Javier Gomez puts out a great point in the comment. Cannot expect Walker to go 4 or 5 innings at this point. The way the pitching staff should be navigated is batter by batter, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen today. As much as you want Walker Buehler to give you 4 solid innings, which Carlos, if he gives us 4, say, scoreless innings, I will 100% take that. That I would say would be the best start of our starting rotation this entire postseason. And it really just depends how Dave Roberts is going to manage this game, in my opinion, is whether or not the Dodgers are either playing ahead or playing behind. Because I think if they're ahead at any point in this game, give credit to Dave Roberts as much as a lot of fans hate him. I thought he managed game 1 excellent. He went to, as soon as Kopech was struggling, he went immediately to take him out, go to his best available arm in Blake Trinan, and then let him ride it out for the rest of the 9th inning. Didn't, trusted to the veteran righty to get out of the inning in the 9th. I think he's going to be aggressive today, especially if the Dodgers have a 1-0, 2-0 lead or whatever the run lead. He's going to manage it like it's game 7 of the World Series, because I think you have to win this game as soon as you get a lead. You cannot let it go, because I agree with you, Carlos. If they lose today and their back's against the wall tomorrow, and you have to rely on Landon Knack and say they use their bullpen a lot, a depleted bullpen tomorrow, I don't really like the Dodgers' chances to try to force a game 5 to come back. So I agree. I think Buehler, as much as I want him to go 4 innings, that Dave Roberts is going to have to take it batter by batter. I would even say if someone gets in scoring position with less than 1 out or like less than 2 outs, I would say you would have to get the bullpen up and working, just due to, the crowd, the stadium you're at, and then the past history of them at Petco Park. But the only way the Dodgers are going to win, Carlos, like you said, the offense needs to wake up. And that's why I'm wearing Mookie Betts' jersey. Mookie Betts is in a super bad funk right now. 0 for his last 22 in postseason at bats. Can't have it. Can't have it with the superstar player. I know he does things off the field with the podcast. Everybody can have opinions on that. I know he does things with the bowling, and everyone likes to make jokes on all of it. I think he does care, and I don't think his character is being questioned here, because even today, Bill Plunkett put out, he's taken, 100, 200, 300 swings before the game. I think he wants it. He wants to prove everybody wrong, because it's not just Dodger fans talking about it now. It's like league. Derek Jeter brought it up. Big Papi was bringing it up. Carlos, if Mookie Betts doesn't wake up, the Dodgers aren't winning the series, right?
Yeah, 100%. He's got to do something. Look, I think Mookie Betts taking, and I read that too, 300, 400 at swings in the cages. That's all great. But and I read it somewhere too, and my opinion was, before I read it, was it's a mental thing, you know? I mean, a lot of the people here, I have, we've all played at some sort of like level of baseball. Of course, it's not compared to MLB, but one thing is constant: how you approach the plate, right? There's people like Corey Seager, right? First ball hitters. Then there's people like I can't think of one right now, but there's people who work the count, like the leadoff hitter for the Luis Arias. He takes pitches, waits to see some pitches. I think Mookie Betts is so confused, he doesn't know which direction to take. I think he's not sure if he should swing at the first pitch or wait till he gets a strike, or look at a couple of pitches. I think that's his problem. I don't think it's a swing that's wrong. I think that's his problem. But look, if we can have the bottom of the lineup, and I mentioned it yesterday, a 7 and 8, Lux and Edmund keep doing what they're doing, get on base, and Miguel Rojas avoids getting into double plays, and gives Otani the chance to hit a home run, hit a double, get a single, get those runners in, then we're going to be good. And then that'll take a lot of pressure off Betts, because he shouldn't. I don't know if he feels pressure. He shouldn't. I mean, you have Otani. Freeman's back in the lineup. Freeman's hit well despite his bum ankle. Muncie's okay. I mean, the home run didn't really count because it was like during garbage time. But still, maybe that built his confidence that he could still hit the ball far. So those are keys, man. Those if some at least three of those things that I just mentioned have to happen in order for the Dodgers to score some runs and win this game.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, and that kind of goes into my next kind of like topic, and that's the Dodgers just need to flip the script. They were the home team, and they were trailing in both games to start off the right off the bat. The Dodgers have a chance to do that themselves. They lead off the top of the inning. You got your three-headed monster and Otani, Betts, and Freeman leading it off for you. There's no reason that the Dodgers, if they're extremely focused and they want to set the tone early, get the crowd out of it, you got the three best hitters in the National League, going up for you. And especially their numbers against King this year are actually really good. Shohei Ohtani in his career against King, 6 for 14 with 3 home runs, 4 RBIs. He's got a 1.681 OPS. He's hit him well. Betts only 2 for 10, but both of those hits that he hit were home runs, including the first home run of the 2024 regular season in Korea. So I think with Betts, I agree that it's mental more than physical and mechanics. I think all Betts needs is just one knock, and it should unlock him. That's why I was so upset that the home run got robbed in game 2, because I think that would have just like awoken his, because it was a good pitch. It was an off speed pitch in on his hands, turned on it, sent it down, tied the game, momentum swinging early, and it ended up getting robbed. And you could see how depleted Betts looked as soon as he saw Profar throw it back to shortstop, because he just immediately put his head down, didn't look right the rest of the game. So I think it starts with Betts, but it really, I hate to say sound cliche here, really starts with Otani. I really want to see Otani do some damage leading off this game, because I'm really curious. I don't think the Padres are going to do anything, but I just keep hearing Manny Machado's comments in the back of my head, like, we don't try to hit Otani. One of the spots that they like to pitch at to Otani to get him out is high and in. I'm telling you, with the tempers in this game, if he gets a single pitch close to his hands or his face, they're going to be barking in the dugout. So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited for this game, because I don't think the tempers have been this high in this entire rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't. I mean, yeah, no, not that I can remember, but I mean, we know it's coming high and inside. It's true. That's how you get Otani out. But hopefully Otani will adjust. I think Otani's done well against all these other pitchers. It's Darvish who's literally has the Dodgers number, including Otani. But I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I mean, Javier mentioned about moving Mookie to putting Gavin in his spot. We know that's not going to happen. They're not going to do those kind of moves right now in the postseason. Mookie has to figure it out. He's got to figure out it, just put the ball in play, and hopefully the ball find some green and land in the outfield. But just like Cody, you said, it's like that home run, man. That was heartbreaking. For I was watching it too. He was rounding second base, pumping his arm, and he thought he had a home run, and unfortunately he didn't, and that didn't help his confidence anymore. And so yeah, so hopefully it's a clean slate, new game, and he could just focus on this game, not tomorrow, not yesterday, and I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. I'm sure what we're saying is exactly what he's approaching. He's going to do it, and that's, I mean, that's kind of like all of us in our daily life. If we have a bad day at work, we're like, you know what? Okay, forget that. Today's a new day. It's a friend new start. So that's something I think that's definitely has in mind.
Given the situation, everything leading up to this, you guys talked about it last night on the live, and we kind of talked about it already. You got the Manny Machado thing with Dave Roberts. That was a big story all last night, and then this morning, you got multiple videos where it looked like perceived to kind of throw in the Dodgers, dugout general direction or whatever. Weird look for both teams, I would say. You got the thing with the Profar and the Tatis and the fans. You got the, both clubs kind of, Dave Roberts flat on out just saying, yeah, they're the villain. They like playing that role. I think everyone can agree on that. That's kind of been a hot take from that interview. Are we going to find out what this team is made of tonight for how they respond in Petco Park?
Yeah, definitely. Today's big. Today's going to determine a lot. Today, what kind of grit this team has, what kind of manager Roberts really is. Is he this just soft manager who kind of lays down and doesn't stand up for his team? Yeah, we're gonna find all that out today, because today is probably in the last that since I've been watching the Dodgers, the last 13 years, like really watching the Dodgers now. Today's a big game. If we don't win today, tomorrow's going to be really difficult. And if we see ourselves if we see ourselves out in the playoffs in the first round again for the third year in a row against the Padres, yeah, man, things have to change. Like I, I wouldn't say it's completely Robert's fault, but something's got to change. You can't just keep running the same team out there every year. You win 98 games, 95 plus games every year, and then nothing changes. So yeah, today's a big game. As a Dodger fan, as just a sports fan, yeah, today it's going to say a lot about the Dodgers, who they really are.
Yeah, as much as I love the team, support them, cover them, write about them, talk about them, live, breathe, buy the merchandise, you know, there's only so many years you can take the same outcome happening. And the Dodgers haven't lost, 3 straight, division series in a very long time. The last time they were kind of in a stretch like this, they lost back-to-back division series in this current run. They lost back-to-back division series to the Mets and the Cardinals in 2014 and 15. Next season, they made a whole variety of changes. Don Mattingly was out, Dave Roberts came in, and then you started seeing a different culture and a different drive for the team. They chipped away. They went to the NLCS the year in 2016, went to the World Series in 2017, went back to the World Series in 18, and have kind of been in that realm of dominating the league with over 100 wins. Now they're at a point in their history where it's like they have the superstars, they have the players, they have the role guys. It's just now it could just be like, all right, who are we going to point the fingers at? And it may have to be, they may have to point it at themselves. And I know you want the players to show up, but at the same time, you have to make changes for certain things. A lot of Dodger fans thought that Dave Roberts was going to be fired last year. I would be shocked still, even if they do lose the series, if he was fired, they would probably just scapegoat it with all the injuries in the starting rotation. But I got to look elsewhere, maybe, training people, training staff, the people behind the scenes that are supposed to be helping these players out. But that's hopefully a conversation for either, another couple weeks. I don't want to have that conversation either tomorrow before the game or after the game. If, if say they lose these next 2 games, I don't think that's going to happen. And that's kind of what we'll get into before we end the pregame show here. I know we want to say Dodgers are going to win this game, but generally,
Hey, Cody,
how are
Cody,
you vibing right now?
yeah. So real quick, so the FS1 just went live for the Dodgers and Padres, and the first thing that comes up is Mookie Betts' number, batting .065 and all these horrible numbers. So just like we're talking about it, I mean these guys are freaking talking about it, and Mookie Betts, and I'm sure Mookie Betts is hearing it from everywhere. I hope he's learned a way to block it out, but and I'm sure he knows, and he like I said, I hope he's not putting too much pressure on himself, because I don't think that's going to help. It's just going to be something like, hey, you know what? I am a great player, which he is. He's a good player. He's won championships. He's been MVP. I mean, just go out there and just beat Mookie. And yeah, look, that's what they're talking about right now. If you guys have the TV on, it's how he faced Colorado in the last series at home, and then how he faced how he batted against Darvish in the last game.
Yeah, and then even kind of before we go into the last kind of question here, game 2 until everything happened in the second half of the game, I would say 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. I thought they had really good at bats against Darvish. I thought they were swinging at the right pitches. They were taking the good pitches. They were the ones that they were putting in play. Give credit to the Padres. They had Freddie Freeman got robbed by Tatis on a very good catch on the run. Profar robbed a home run away. I think the Dodgers had 4 or 5 hits of 95 plus miles per hour off Darvish. Only one of them ended up being a base hit. They were seeing it well. It's just sometimes, that's the thing about baseball that's different than any other sport, is that, there's a little bit of luck involved. It's not always if you put the best players out there and they get the best, swing and misses or contact or power. Something always just happens. And I just think the Dodgers didn't have it that night. David Vassay, made a good point on Dodger Talk where he talked about the first 2 games of the series. He said the must-win game was game 1 because they just don't hit Darvish at all. And it ended up proving to be true. Darvish looked, vintage Darvish performance going into the 7th inning or 6th inning, whatever it was there. But coming into today, obviously we have our fan expectations where we think they're going to come out with this win, blow them away. realistically, give me a realistic take, Carlos. What do you think the final line is today for this game? Do you think the Dodgers win, or do you think they're on the brink of elimination tomorrow?
No, of course, I'm going to say they're going to win. Yesterday, my prediction was 6-3. Then I had dreams about the Dodgers and what's going to happen. And I mean, I think it might be less than that. I mean, I think it might be closer to. I think it's going to be like a 4-3, 5-4 game. Dodgers win. I think it's going to be that close.
It's hard for me to make a final prediction. It's not like my favorite thing to do, especially once you start getting to the middle of the series, especially when the Dodgers go on the road into Petco Park, where I was very confident in 2022. So I have that in the back of my head. But I think today is as much as a must win as you can have in front of you. I would even say classify this as like this is their elimination game, because if they lose today, I don't think there's no shot that they win tomorrow. I just think they would be defeated. You can call me a hater, call me whatever, but it's just like me looking in reality with this team. But if they win today, I think they take a lot of momentum back, and then they can at least split in San Diego and then bring it back to game 5. Because in my opinion, game 5 is going to be about redemption, because I think it's going 5. When we did our predictions, I said it was going 5 games. I think Jack Flaherty's getting that game, and I think he's going to have some redemption in that series. So I think the Dodgers do win tonight, just because I think they have to win tonight. If they don't win tonight, I don't like the outlook for the rest of this series. Any other thoughts on that for the rest of the series? Like you thought it was, I believe, going to go 5 as well, right?
Yeah, right. I did. I think it's still 5. I think this is the game to win. And then tomorrow's a crapshoot based on what happens today. You could start Knack, maybe throw in Kasperius after Knack, and maybe you get lucky and get that victory. But I think today's the game. Got to win today. Probably go game 5. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just going to be interesting once this game gets started. And us as fans, we've seen so many games. We know the direction of the game based on the first couple of innings, and it's just and I mean, it could change. It could be like the Dodgers, came back in the first game, but I don't want them to be chasing runs. I would love them to get ahead and take the pressure off the pitching, take just the pressure off a lot of the batters. And so, yeah, hopefully they score a couple of runs in the first inning. It'll be a total different outcome. And yeah, I got it 5-4 Dodgers. That's my final score. That's what I got.
I think it really just depends on Bueller. I think if Bueller shows up and is, I don't think he needs to have the overpowering stuff. I don't think he needs to. If he's going to aim for strikeouts, I don't think it's going to work. Like I said, this Padres team, they don't strike out. It's one of the most annoying things about the Padres in this new age of baseball, where there's really only 3 true outcomes: home run, walk, or strikeout. The Padres are the polar opposite of that, which is why I think they are as fierce and as hard to beat and as competitive as a team, is because they play a little bit different style of baseball compared to the Dodgers, where the Dodgers go for that big home run, big double, big triple, multiple extra base hits. Padres, they just want to put the ball in play. And that could frustrate Bueller. The whole outcome of this game goes if he starts getting hit and hit hard early. If he say Tatis stings him for a home run in the first inning, my head's just going to start going down. But if he lives up to the challenge, like the pitcher that he says he is, I think that'll go well for this series. But another thing I want to kind of touch on you before we end it: over under. You're a betting man. What should we set the over under at for how many times these teams come out and like chirp at each other? Because I feel like it's got to be high.
I would I would go with I say 3 times that they're going to go at each other. They're actually showing all that stuff right now, which is pretty interesting. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Javier says with his heart, he's going Dodgers 8-6, but as a baseball fan, he's saying Padres 7-3. I mean, I'm a baseball fan too, man, but I just I think Dodgers are going to win this game. I just think I went to the last homestand and I watched that series. They were all the last two. I think the two of them were close games. I think the Dodgers they'll figure a way to pull it out. I just don't think King is going to be unstoppable today. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get this game started. I talked to Cody, and I know you guys heard it too in the chat. I hope I take 5 shots today. I hope the Dodgers hits five home runs so I can take some shots. I only taken 1 shot so far, so that's not doing anything good for my my buzz here. So, hopefully we get like at least 3 shots today. I got Otani going deep. I got Muncy going deep, and I just for good luck, I hope Betts going deep too. That's my 3 shots.
I'll even take a bet single. Javier's setting the over under at 2.5 for the potential benches clearing. I'm just saying if something like big happens, like with a big player, like if a pitch comes inside, I can't remember the last time there was a benches clearing thing or like where they came out in a postseason game. I think that's in the cards today. I would say as a fan, and as much as fans and as much as angry as we are, I think the players kind of are a little upset as well, especially given the post game or the pregame interviews before today. So I guess we'll see what happens, Carlos.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. John is saying that Dodgers would lose a fight, I guess, if there was a brawl in the field. So let's not, we don't want to get anybody get hurt. Yeah, I mean,
I don't
yeah,
think anyone's throwing fists, but they may if they want to cut if they like slowly walk out, that may happen. Nobody's gonna risk getting suspended. That's the one thing right
exactly,
now.
exactly. Yep, yep.
So
So yeah, we'll see what happens, you guys, and hopefully Cody, you on the post game or
it's up to.
I know
I think it's TBD. TBD what we're
exactly,
doing for the post game. I think Roger will post something on social media if we're gonna go live immediately after. So hopefully vibes are high if we do one tonight.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We gotta get this win, you guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us for this pregame. Appreciate it. And
Yeah. So we'll end
let's
it
take those
here.
shots.
Let's hopefully we're not, they hit a couple home runs and we can take our shots and get ready for the post game once we do that. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Make sure to follow us on social media, the YouTube channel. Be on the lookout if we do a post game tonight. If not, be on the lookout for all the videos that Roger's posting behind the scenes, whether it's the pregame and postgame interviews. Should be a really good game tonight, and hopefully we're talking about a Dodgers win either tonight or tomorrow. But that'll do it for this episode. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online. The game starts here.